everybody, today on the show, I am gonna go ahead and just shave. Whoa, no, not pulling a Britney Spears today. This week's Ask Cristen question is coming from Consulting Reptile Geek, who wants to know, could you do a video on hair? Specifically, why it's not socially accepted for women to have short hair or have a shaved head. First of all, just think about how long hair is considered such a quintessentially female beauty trait. There are even all sorts of evolutionary theories about how women tend to grow their hair longer as a sign of our fertility. My long hair is all like, what up, put a baby inside of me, it'll do okay in here. Think about how uncommon it is to see much older women with much longer hair. It's much more common for them to pull, say, a Jamie Lee Curtis and cut all your hair off because you're older, you're postmenopausal, you're not having kids anymore. Who cares about all that hair? We take all of that gendered hairspray, pomade, and mousse that has been applied to female hair over the centuries, metaphorically speaking, and then we shave it all off. Of course, it's controversial considering the long-standing symbolism of a shaved head. In religious circles, for instance, Christian or Buddhist monks have shaved their heads as symbols of renouncing worldly pleasures. Worldly pleasures like indulging in gendered beauty habits. Beyond that, having one's head forcibly shaved has been a long-standing tool of oppression. In the United States, for instance, slave owners would often shave their slaves' heads, not only to quell the spread of disease, but also to symbolize that they were owned property. It was a way of branding people. After World War II in France, women who had been known to have sexual liaisons with German soldiers had their heads publicly shaved and were marched through the streets in order to humiliate them, very Scarlet Letter style, advertising to everyone that you had done something wrong, that you were in some way inferior in violating correct womanhood. Even today, the idea of a woman intentionally shaving her own head is still interpreted as an act of defiance. Speaking about this, a few years ago in the wake of Britney Spears shaving her own head, social psychologist Alastair Ross told the Guardian newspaper, quote, "There are lots of positive connotations in men. In women, it's seen as being out of control because it's outside the normal distribution of hair behavior. For example, when Willow Smith shaved her head, people freaked out to the point that her mom, Jada Pinkett Smith, wrote a public Facebook message saying, hey, it's totally fine that my daughter shaved her head because, P.S., it's her body, and I want to teach her that having autonomy and say over her self-presentation is totally okay." I think that Furiosa in the most recent Mad Max movie's shaved head was very symbolic too of the powerful woman that she was and how she was standing up to all of the misogyny happening in this dystopian world around her. I do think that partially or completely shaved heads are becoming more acceptable hairstyles. And for African American women, as part of the natural hair movement, shaving one's head has been a part of that, getting rid of any processed hair down to the roots and regrowing their natural hair. As Ernan Fowler told the Chicago Tribune, quote, "When a woman decides to cut off all her hair, she discovers something underneath it that's liberating. It can be therapeutic because you have to let go of the idea that you need these superficial extras to feel beautiful." But I predict that for the foreseeable future, women shaving their heads will remain a little bit taboo and outside of the fashion mainstream, because as long as culturally we value women based on beauty, we won't know what to do and will be a little freaked out by women who willfully abandon and shave off one of the primary hallmarks of that feminine beauty. Which, now that I'm saying it out loud, is kind of an argument for all women to shave their heads. Now I want to know what you think. Is a woman shaving her head still a big deal? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks everybody who watched and commented on last week's Ask Cristen video. Are unaffectionate relationships unhealthy? Holy crap, it's Joe commented. My partner and I started on very opposite ends of the affection spectrum. I've learned to give him more space at certain points in the year, and he's learned that I need a little reassurance every once in a while. I've also figured out that he expresses his feelings more by doing things than saying things. I write him a cute note every so often to say I love you, and he cuts, splits, and stacks a ton of firewood so I don't die next to a cold wood stove to say it back to me. Ms. and Nikki said, my husband and I are opposites. I've never been a huggy, lovey-dovey person, and he is all about that, but we make compromises and deal around it. I do a lot of little things to show I love him, and sometimes I just let him have his cuddles. It works, and we are super happy. I'm super not tempted to shave my head because I have a flat spot right here, and it just wouldn't work. It's a fact.